So this episode picks up from where 2 episodes ago ended off, and this one moves probably the quickest of any episode we've had yet. Like, this one is pedal to the metal. Every single dynamic in the show kind of does flip in this episode.
I was surprised at just how many things happen. Like, it's cool, it's enjoyable, there's some shocking moments, and it gets me once again excited for next week because what the hell's going to happen?
Yeah, if this was a binge, I would be locked in for 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be stopping.
It's built up really well. It felt like, this could have been 10 episodes, and this probably would have been where they would have spread it out, because you've got Johnny Vidi in the crypt, in the Falcone crypt, earning his way out of there. Tony then gets shot in the head.
Yes, spoilers. I can see that being maybe the only gripe people have, is that maybe something moves too quick, but that's exactly what you want from it, to be honest, because like it doesn't mess around. And I can see this also being people's highest rated episode because so much happens.
Yeah, you might also be forgetting the Mauler Cinema Sins. Ding! Maroney gets stabbed, but somehow gets out of the prison.
My one negative thing I wrote down was, he says over the phone, "Oh, thanks for the keys, by the way. I never would have gotten out without them." And I'm like, that is not how prison works. You don't just get one guard's keys and you walk out.
And we saw in episode 1 that Blackgate is similar to Arkham, but it exists in its own little, like, there's one bridge on and there's one bridge off.
Yeah, it's like, it's Alcatraz, basically.
Yeah, and even though he seems to have some influence in that prison, it's not like he's the secret kingpin of it. He still is a prisoner there.
Yeah, like he has pull, but he's not able to do whatever he wants.
And then you know he's not going to die the moment he goes, Oz says...
Honestly, I did think he would die there. I thought, because, like, do you know how Batman usually clears house in a night, like in Batman Begins? Like, we don't have time for this. We're doing comic book villains. We're doing the Penguin and Sophia. So I thought they'd just kill him. So it was a pretty good twist for me, like them actually keeping him alive, because I didn't expect that. And it is good for Maroney, because, like, Clancy Brown is a huge fella. So to show him as a powerhouse, like, he's stabbed and he still deletes this guard.
I was overall really impressed by the pace of the episode. So the Penguin is met in the, I forget the woman's name, but the escort's house, which is kind of his borderline girlfriend, or at least that's what he tells himself. They work together a lot.
Yeah, she seems to like him.
But is she just saying that to just
She could just
him?
know what powerful people want
to hear.
Yeah.
So meet up there, and he gets the characters from episode 1 of his drug operation who work
his boys.
for him. They're his boys who he vetted, and they are loyal to him.
And he made sure weren't in the van that got shot up in the first episode. So, like, he looks after them. He's one of the people, which is his pull.
And he referenced again, I think, the same gangster he told Alberto about.
He does. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, because
and the car represents
he's like,
that.
did I ever tell you about Rex Calabrese? And to me, that kind of echoes the fact that, yeah, he does actually want to be one of the people, like...
He wants to be the cool gangster in the purple car and goes, Penguin's here.
It's almost like that's what he wanted to be, but by the end of this, he spends the whole season wanting to be Rex Calabrese, but at the end he's like, oh no, I can be a monster and get what I want. At some point, there's a line.
We got a bit of that, because the interesting thing with him is that we were introduced to him in The Batman, and he is the Penguin, he is the villain, and they're aware that we're going in with preconceived notions about this person, that he's obviously the villain. He's one of the most famous Batman villains. But in this, there was definitely... Well, then we shouldn't be too surprised, because I don't think people should be too shocked. I mean, the first 10 minutes he kills someone. He then sets up to have people he's worked with be killed. He then... and then he stabs a guy who he was just about to save, but then to get out of his own back, he then stabs him anyway.
Yeah. But none of these people he had close relationships
Exactly,
with.
but then he manipulates someone he did have a close relationship with. Someone he used to be close with, who he then has killed a brother, has then managed to wiggle his way into be partners with her, and then before he basically goes, nah, fuck you, he's trying to say, hey, well, maybe you give me that second chance. 30 seconds later, he's like, come on, Maroney, it's me and you.
He never really liked Alberto.
No, but that's the thing, is that it's fucked up to kill someone's brother and then wiggle your way in with them anyway.
Yes.
And then now, the big moment is that he burnt a mother and a son.
Oh, that was such a good scene. Vic kind of proves himself. Also, Vic has a little scar.
He does.
If you were to shave his head, there would be more of a scar there.
Yeah, you're right.
How much am I reaching?
But
he proves himself a lot more this episode.
He seems fully committed.
Yeah. I think he even stutters less because he's more sure of himself.
Oh, we're going to go for Maroney's son, and then we cut to immediately.
Them going for Maroney's son.
And then Vic's the one who gets him. They bring him back.
And it's an ad for the world's greatest noise-cancelling headphones. Gunshots, completely gone.
Yeah, I thought that was... But whatever, we'll go with it, sure.
Okay, it's these tiny things that you're like, okay, whatever, but it gets me something
And also,
good.
you wouldn't really, I don't know, you wouldn't be expecting it. Like, one moment you're getting your tattoo, you're listening to your beats, and then 5 seconds later, everyone's dead.
I think they should have done, it's a Family Guy gag, but Peter's waiting above a prison to try to escape, and the person's watching Friends, and in the intro when they go, he bashes his rock against a lock to like break out of the prison. So it's like, it would have been good if like you hear shots firing and then shots going. It just would have been a tiny little thing that would have made me go from, oh, that's funny dumb, to being like, that's clever.
So even though the penguin is doing things, he's trying to react, he actually is having a series of downs.
Well, I reckon he's on top for the first like 15, 20 minutes though. Like everything's coming up him. He's like, Sophia's killed them all. That was what I was going to do.
I wonder if you squealed a little bit because someone directly says you're spinning too many plates. And that was one of the thumbnails. So I thought, hey, that was us.
But that's exactly it. And like he even says later, and it's like, I'm always fixing things.
I did like that he was thinking more, okay, Sophia is now, I've only got a limited time until Sophia comes for me. So I need to get the Maronis off the board. So he goes all in, speed run
It's
that.
like nothing
get
to
the
lose
drugs
as
back.
well.
Yeah, I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to get the drugs back. So I'm going to kill the son, the mother, and then assumingly kill Maroni. So then I can just, they're off the board. We leave them in a power vacuum. Because if you get rid of the heads.
And he's probably assuming that Sophia's useless without the family. As in, not useless, but like, he didn't think that she would have Johnny Vitti and the extra cash and stuff. He kind of just thought everybody died. She's not much of a threat, whereas the Maronis are a big threat right now, so delete them, worry about her later.
And we got your thing where Johnny Vitti introduced his cousin to Sophia's mother.
Yes, that's a good little backstory.
That's how he's kind of... And I thought to myself, I wonder if that's how he worked his way in. Like, hey, it's my cousin. Oh, you married? Oh, look at us. Basically,
like, I'm good with books.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows?
The Agadashlu, the Burning Mum and Son, so good because he's on top of the world at that point. Like you can see the plan working out in his head, and then when he walks out doused, I'm like, oh, that's definitely fuel. Like that's just not water. You'd think the chick might be able to smell it, but still good. But then they start to hug, and then everything goes wrong for him when they start shooting because he didn't expect them to betray him. He got too cocky for a second there.
Would he have done it if they didn't pull the guns? Like, that's kind of the question too. Yes. Was he always planning to do that? Or was it just, oh, well, now you've done this, it gives me reason to do that?
Yeah.
Maybe he's got this weird sense of honor about it. Like, but I think he was going to do that if there was no guns there.
I think no matter what, she was going up in flames.
Realistically, if this was a genuine situation, he would just gun them both down.
Yes.
But then for us as the audience, we need to see that this guy is that damn malicious.
And evil.
And as we say, like, oh, I need you to look after my mum because she keeps me good. And this is what he does to keep good.
Yes.
Like, he burns a mother and son because they just happen to be inconvenient. Like, the stupidity that he is some kind of like semi-TikTok famous guy who's like, the Maronis are taking over. Like, we're taking what's back.
I mean, I don't know if famous, but is stupid enough
to do that.
Reveal his location on the daily.
We'll talk about Sophia as like a separate thing because they are quite separate this episode, which is good to see. I thought I liked having them separate. Yeah,
it's got a good duality to it too. But so he's on top of the world until his own plan is the reason the fire alarms go off and destroy all his mushrooms.
I said, well, they're fucked, aren't they? Because we were told before that they need to be in particular environments.
Yes, they need to stay warm. I figured they might just have died in the trip, but then the smoke alarms go off, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, of course.
But yeah, the cool air alone would have done it. But yeah, so he has just 2 buckets. But I'm there going, but you can grow more, right?
Maybe the Maronis already killed the guy that was growing them because he was like the chemist, basically. The agricultural man. But then Penguin's like freaking out because he thinks all of the mushrooms are dead, but then he gets to the 2 buckets, opens up, and it's full of subscribe buttons. So he just gets all the subscribe buttons and he presses them.
During this whole time, Vic's been just go look after my mum. And there's a bit where she obviously goes, oh, look, it's your... I believe she's talking to probably one of the brothers because there's 3 of them.
The glove isn't Oz's. In my brain, I only thought it was one brother, but I guess it was 2 brothers. We get a little bit more revealed on the fact that...
I lost them too.
The city, she lost them. I lost them too. The city swallowed them up. So, like, we don't really know what happened.
But then she's aware, like, when he goes, she knows that he's doing what he's doing. That he is a criminal and he's doing this.
She's on board.
Yes, in her moments of clarity, she's like, oh, good.
I kind of thought they'd go more into it. Instead of a flashback, we would just use her dementia to, like, get her to retell some old stories.
Which would have been smooth.
But instead, she snaps out of it, and she's great at it. Like, the woman's an absolute bitch.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm
Particularly
like,
at the
Jesus
end.
Christ, she's fantastic. I do wish they gave us a little bit more of maybe Oz's, of the brother's backstory via her dementia, but there's still time.
Yes, still time.
Before this episode, I could kind of feel us being halfway through, but they covered so much ground in this episode that I'm like, oh, we're way further ahead. We're going to have 3 full episodes.
Yeah, like in a good way, this felt like it could have been, as I said, it could have been 2 seasons that you could have ended on, and now there's 2 opposite sides, and they're going to go to, and
the pacing
there are
is very
some
good.
shows which would have done that. And things just start going wrong. He hasn't got the drugs. Maroney wasn't killed. He's conscious that Sophia could come any minute. His work friend, who he kind of kids himself into thinking it's his girlfriend, is basically said, I'll be here if you get out of this. It's not cheating if we've broken up, technically.
We're on a break.
Yeah. So he's just feeling completely down, and he has no one he can really trust. So when he goes back, and Vic has went back to where he's from, Crown Point, where Squid is.
That whole section kind of annoyed me a smidge. Like, Penguin even references it as a good idea, and I guess it is a good idea to go there because
no one cares. And it's the place hit most by the floods.
But Vic knows the criminals in the area, and if he's seen by then, that's a bad thing.
Squid's going to play into this somehow.
Well, yeah, he looks at them directly and goes, oh, that's Vic and an old woman. I'm going to go somewhere else now. I'm going to go to the next episode before I cause problems.
In the Batman animated series, there's a great episode called The Man Who Killed Batman, and it's about a failed criminal. He desperately wants to be a criminal. Sid the Squid. It's the best episode because the Joker is bereft that the Batman is dead. So he robs a jewelry place and Batman doesn't come. He goes, without Batman, crime has no punchline.
That's the best take on the Joker, is like when he needs Batman's.
Where he's an art, he's a performance artist.
Yeah, like half the stuff he does is for Batman.
I'm just saying because there's an example of a squid. I know it's a reach. Yeah, so he takes her back to not the apartment, but familiar to its similar area.
Yeah, I was like, wow, his apartment held up pretty well. But then he's like, I used to live over there.
Yeah, she says, oh, this feels like the place I lived with the boys.
Yes. It's just very generic poor person home.
They hunker down. Penguin comes back. Then he's feeling pretty sad because he's like, oh, my plans didn't go because I haven't got the drugs, because his whole thing was take out the Maronies, get the drugs, deal with Sophia.
Yeah.
Like, that seemed to be the big plan. And he wants a bit of comforting from his mum, and basically just gets cut down from her even more.
It works to begin with, but what does he reference? He references something and then she gets pissed.
There's talk about the brothers. There's talk about him as a failure, basically.
Yeah, she's there to make us feel sorry for Oz again, and it works because she is so good at being just that bitch of a mother.
Yeah.
You immediately feel bad for this mass murderer that's literally burned people 3 minutes beforehand. I'm like, fuck, that's really well done.
Yeah.
But it's the mixture of talking about the brothers and the fact that the mum just doesn't like him, but is also very keen on him to start with. She's like, Oz, everything's working out well. But then, again, it's the flippant nature of her disease, I guess.
Yeah. And then he's reminded, because they had the old railway token.
Very contrived. I don't know whether that sparked the idea or whether he already had the idea and went looking for the token.
But he didn't use the token.
No, I thought it was going to be a Amazing Spider-Man 2 where he drops it in the tram trolley. Because he walks up to the door with the big emblem on it and like, oh, we're doing Resident Evil. He's going to like place it in the center.
And I think they're meant to be the same tunnels that Bruce uses when he enters into the Batcave, because his Batcave is the bottom of Wayne Tower, which assumingly it's all out of commission. People would have entered in through that and went up to work. So that's all out of commission. So it's funny because I think they're probably going to be on opposite ends of each other, the Wayne Tower. So that's kind of a fun.
It's also just a cool nod to like the Gotham's so old, it's got all this infrastructure.
That's what I love the most about it.
They build on top. They fuck it up. They build on top.
Yeah, in Arkham City they do that, where there's like a whole undercity. Effectively, he gets himself a villain lair.
Yes.
and Matt Reeves, who's the director of the Batman, for even though as dark and serious that is, has little nods and references to the 60s show. There is a red phone which gets rung. There's a bit where Robert Pattinson gets a rope and runs down the side of a building, which is similar to how
the opposite of the him and Robin
going up. So there's
up.
plenty of little cheeky nods, which is fun. So in this, having the Penguin get basically a villain lair is cute. And even though it's like, oh, it's where we have the drug operations, but it's the first step into we're moving past youngsters.
We're getting comic-y, yeah. It gave me a throwback to the Danny DeVito in his little like sewer lair. Obviously a sewer would be stupid, and why would Colin Farrell want to hang out down there. But in an abandoned subway, you get all your sewer-like things, but it's livable.
Exactly.
And using the mushrooms as like a warm, wet environment. I'm like, that's
Makes
actually really
sense.
well thought out. They probably thought about that before they thought about the mushrooms. They're like, we need to get this man in a lair because that's going to be fun.
I don't think we're going to be getting penguins with missiles attached to their back. Like
Unfortunately not.
No. So that's kind of where it ends.
It cut to black, yeah. The generator dies.
Then this is it. Like, it's the first, like, okay, we've got something to grab onto here. It's me and Vic. We're going to make something work.
Yeah, the way they cut to black is very much like the next episode almost feels like it should start with like Act 3. Like,
Yes.
it's very much like this
was Zack
is
Snyder.
the bullet point. Oh, God, the Snyder cut.
And we're kind of setting up because, rewind back, we've got the Sophia storyline. And the first thing is that the police commissioner from the film, with the really dry
Emphysema.
Yes,
That's two
but that's that
smokers.
guy's voice.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You get Shona Agadashalu, who has like the smoker's lung, and then you get this guy. Like maybe Gotham's air is just not good.
He's an English actor, and a lot of those guys were English, particularly in the police department.
Kind of a good way to get your accent to be like New York, but not New York, is to have British people do
And his
it.
dry voice suits the accent really well, even though it can be slightly distracting. Obviously, I liked a lot what happened with Sophia. So the first thing that she has is that she has a word with him. He's basically going, isn't
He's
this strange
insinuating.
that you've survived? And where's Johnny VD?
But it's not like he's pointing the finger at her in kind of like a little bit of a sexist, like, oh, you're just a woman. It's probably
Johnny VD.
Johnny VD, or it's gang violence, and I can get in on that. Like,
Because then you say that there's been a big crackdown, like the new mayor's
yeah,
cracking
so it's
down.
like maybe he's insinuating that someone's doing their job for
But
them.
then privately, I'm going to say, yes, this is sad, but also this is, in the long run, a few bad eggs have had to get smashed to save
Yeah.
others. And I think, doesn't she make reference to, you're going to be celebrating, but then you realise there aren't going to be as much handouts anymore? And then it's revealed that she has Johnny VD down in the crypts, the Falcone crypts.
There's a really good shot of her sitting up on where you put flowers, because the bodies are in the wall, but it's her dad, her mum, and her brother, and then an empty spot for her, as if none of them are, like, she's not going to get married, like, that's where she's going to end up, and her just sitting in front of it while she talks about them. I'm like, oh,
It's good.
it's just well thought out.
He tries a few attempts. We get the character reveal that, hey, this is how I'm related to you. He tries to appeal to the fact we both loved your mum and all that. And she goes, yeah, you love my mum, but then you happily was underboss for years.
He starts out very aggressive. She uses the stuff that would have broken her in Arkham, which
Yes.
isn't like this cold room is going to get cold. And then like last episode, they showed her shivering in bed. Like Arkham is not a nice place.
There isn't a moment where he goes, okay, Sophia, I agree. It's just where...
That happens after he talks about the mum. So he does get through to her a little bit.
because he goes, I'm not lying,
Yeah, it's the mum, it's the coming clean, along with the fact that he's like, I will work for you. He's like, I have no love for Carmine. I loved the money, but I loved your mum, so I love you.
Yeah,
But he
cool.
also there's a vicious moment where he blames the kids. Isabella doesn't leave
of
because
you
she's got two
guys,
kids.
And if it wasn't for you...
Yeah, and he's like, it's you fucking kids. So it's just like, you killed my cousin almost.
Yeah.
Not even blaming Carmine, even though Carmine, the bad guy, and is now dead. So there's nothing stopping you blaming him.
And so she then calls a meeting. She puts on her war paint, like a heavy eyeliner. Which is
And
like
she's
her
showing
look.
off all the scars too.
Yeah, it seems to be trying to own that look of being crazed. Like that's how she's scaring people, she's living into that hangman thing.
Yeah, she's leaning into it. And at least she's not hiding anymore because she has no one to hide from. She got rid of everyone that would get in her way. And now she's a big fan of communism.
Yeah, because her thing is, you guys are the actual workers. So, like, we've got rid of the family. It's just going to be me.
Yeah.
We'll be the gigantes.
Which I assume is because...
The maiden's name of the mother.
Yes, but I assume that's comic book because she was a giant in the comic book. Like she was a Hulk of a woman.
Yeah, cool.
So
Maybe.
now
Maybe
it's
it
just
is
kind of
that.
like, it's just Sophia the giant, whereas like in the comic book it was Sophia the giant, the hangman.
Cool.
I think they just needed a last name, and it was
That's cute.
vaguely
It's
Italian
cute.
/
Yeah.
Spanish. I don't actually know what Gigante is. It's probably Spanish because El Gigante in Resident Evil 4. But that's where I get my knowledge of languages.
So there's a conversation in which people are going, we need to do revenge, and Johnny VD's going, I forget what that was.
She says, we're going to end the war. I'm not going to let you die in a war. And Johnny Viti's like, we have to do a war.
Yeah, we have to. Like, this is the old school way. And then she uses him as a example of this is like the old way is dead.
Yeah.
I suppose it's meant to make us go, it's that Game of Thrones thing, because we've just spent a whole episode with this guy of them making an unsteady alliance. So I'm there going, she's probably going to kill him in like episode 7 or 8. Like she's going to use him for his connections and organisation, but as soon as she doesn't need it, done.
Yeah, she got the liquid cash hiding behind a dumpster or something. She got all the henchmen together.
Then it's the surprise pop,
which again really boosts the episode's feeling of like accomplishing stuff. It could for some come across as like, oh, we wasted your time. Like,
shock value.
Why did we have that? Yeah, it's like, oh, the bad guy killed an underling. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, it's it highlights her slightly unhinged nature.
Yeah.
We are forgetting also we have the therapist who rings up and goes, I want in.
Theo Rossi. Dr. Rush?
Yeah, and he seems way too like eager and like, yeah. And I keep waiting for her to just gut him as well, which she will. Like,
yes, but I think she does semi-like the attention because, like I said last episode, it's not sexually charged.
She's like, but I want to be the one in charge.
Yeah, because he comes over and he's basically like, I don't know why they let him in to her bedroom, but he's like, I realize now that I'm controlling, but it wasn't that I wanted. It was the power. You can give me that power if I help you. I don't super get his game apart from the fact that he's a crazy person.
Yeah, he's maybe...
He doesn't need to exist, I guess.
Slightly... Obviously, because we've been praising this show, I'm going to see where he goes.
I don't not like him. He's the most redundant of the things we're doing.
I think that's what it is. It's that everyone involved has a big place and have a henchwench, basically, a henchman, basically.
He's too important. Theo Rossi isn't that level of henchman where we know that he's there just to be a henchman.
Yeah.
Whereas Theo Rossi should have a point. We just don't know what it is yet. And I guess we can't see it apart from, she decides to kill him.
Yeah. Did you think it was fairly heavy-handed, like them taking the money while it's dipped in the blood of Johnny Viti? Like, I get the visual. It's like the whole, if I can be a bit wanky, it's like hungry pigs finally let at the trough. Like it's,
that's what they're there for.
They're
get
there,
the money.
like, and she's getting that. Hey, there's no more middleman. It's you and me. I'm just going to be the one heading up the operation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like she wants the power, not the money.
I can only imagine she kept Johnny Viti alive because he just had everyone's number.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. As soon as she got the cash and all the henchmen together, I think she knew she was going to kill him already. He made that comment, and she was like, all right, well, now I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and then they don't want that, it seems. Like, I don't want a family feud. We're gangsters. Like, who cares? So then she goes, we're not Falcons, we're Gigantes. And it felt really Game of Thrones, where at one point I was like, I don't have a husband, you just lost a wife, let's have a merger, like...
As in the ending with Salvatore?
Yeah, with Salvatore, because, there's no more family, so we need to come together and basically take out the Penguin. Because he's the wild card of this whole thing.
Well, that's the ending to her story. It really is just like, she rocks up to Sal's hideout that he's escaped to.
How does she know he's there again?
Because they need it to happen. It's kind of like, it's all in aid of the pacing of the plot. But you do have to be like,
little things you can let go of. I think the Sal getting out of prison is a slight bit of a crevasse. Maybe there's little things here and there of like, he had people on the inside. Guards who were loyal to him, who ushered him out during this. Maybe.
It's a little bit like it had to happen, and it happens so quickly that you don't really even have time to
it's one of those
question
moments.
It.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like, they really do. The henchman opens the door, gets shot, it's Sophia now, and they're just talking. It's not like she gets a bullshit call that's like, we found him or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, they don't waste my time.
Which I completely...
Just to waste my time.
I like that. I get it.
It's the best form of doing this. Like, if you want to get your plot moving and you want to have the next thing happen, just on the call, he's like, cool, I broke out because thanks for that.
I guess my famous example amongst people who know me is that I don't like Dark Knight Rises because I feel it has too many moments where, for the sake of the story, we're going to avoid this little 20-second bit of like, how do you get back in the city? Because you've just spent the whole movie saying if anyone enters or leaves, you're fucked.
How did he get out of the ship at the end?
Yeah, like all the like, how did he get back to the country if he's got no money?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, and you go, oh, for the sake of the film, for the sake of the story, but I'm here going, he should have just been buried under the city, and then it's like, you will be buried under the city you wanted to save. And so then he has to work his way back to the surface. Come on, Chris, Anyway, that's a 12-year-old film I certainly got over.
I think the way you solve our tiny little issue with Sophia and Salvatore is he gets stabbed, he goes to the prison hospital, Sophia becomes Gigante, she breaks him out. Or like she walks into his hospital at the end. Because like there's no reason for him to escape to the countryside.
Keys or not, he's walked past security checkpoints while being injured.
Leaving a trail of blood. You could solve both those issues. All good prison breaks, you get yourself stabbed and you go to like the hospital. Because the hospital is the least secure place. So you get him shipped to the hospital. There's a dead guard in his cell. Not a bad thing because he's paid off people. He's bleeding. And then she walks into his hospital room at the end and says, join me and we'll leave. Like I own this place now.
I suppose it's just as we've already said, and it's for the pacing of the story. Like, do we need to spend 10 minutes to go through the semantics of him breaking out and Sophia getting to him?
But I think you could have done that just as quick. Like that him ending up in the hospital bed and her walking in, you would have been like, oh, he was stabbed, he's now in hospital.
And maybe they did. Like, who knows? Maybe they shot stuff and then to keep it under an hour, they just had to get rid of these 20, 30 second bits where he's like elbowing his way past people or guards who are loyal to me, I need you to usher me out of here. Like, maybe it'll be explained next episode, but this whole...
Get a flashback.
Salvatore could have got out of there whenever he wanted to. He was in there because he's serving his time, but if he needed to, he got out of there.
Yeah.
So when he got stabbed and he then went, I'm getting out of here. The loyal men who were in there, which you get that sense in the, like, he's holding court in the visitors room with multiple visitors there. You'd think he'd be a pretty high level, like...
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
I'm okay with letting it go.
Yes.
Because it's not that big of a problem. Quickly. And it's for the sake of the immediacy of the plot. So then you're ending on, oh boy, Salvatore and them have teamed up. Yeah. So I can only guess the next point is that it's going to be, Penguin's going to be doing, like, if you watch Wonka, the Tooth Chalamet film.
Yes, but what do you mean?
Because he can't sell chocolate, so he keeps having to, like, jump up out the drains and go back down. So maybe Penguin's just like, drugs, kids, and then goes back down the drain. So then they can't find him. They're like, where is he? He hasn't got a base of operations. How is he doing this?
So he's going to be like, drugs out of his pocket. He's going to be like...
Yeah, it's pocket. Yeah, come get some shrooms. I don't know. It's going to be him trying to run an operation. They're hunting him. So he's going to have to be working his way around the...
But the show's been moving so quickly, and that seems too stagnant. So they have to be doing... Like, I'm not sure what they're going to do.
And we haven't really jumped forward. It's going to be like next day. Like each episode feels like the next day.
Very much like, we're not doing a time skip. We're doing the next day at the max.
And I do think Squid's going to get in on it. Like Penguin's going to go, hey, aren't you you're the local guys? Okay, let's get working. And brings them in. And
maybe I've been thinking of Squid as a villain. Maybe he really is just... the next step.
Well, Vic thinks to incorporate him and goes, hey, come on, I'm working under the Penguin, which to most people, normal criminals, the Penguin's a big deal. Yeah. Like, you don't mess with the Penguin.
You'd know him and like, sure. So I've been thinking of him as the villain, but he's probably just going to be the dealer so that they don't have to say, oh, how is the Penguin getting out all these drugs? They're like, oh, we have a guy. That could also make Vic not feel good about it if he's given drugs in his own neighborhood.
Once again, it's really great to not know, to not have even a semblance of what could happen.
Yes.
And we're here going with the Penguin,
but not in a bad way.
No, it's like, but you're there going, the Penguin has to be on top, right?
Yeah.
So, but then they like Sophia so much, they're not going to kill Sophia off, but will they? Like, or is Sophia going to end up back in Arkham? Like that? That feels like an obvious ending. As well as Colin Farrell says that this guy's going to get worse and worse. So what's he going to do? And we've got
3 episodes.
So what's he going to do that isn't already, you've just killed a family?
I hope it's not the actor thing where they're like, they talk up their own project. They're like, you guys won't believe what we do this season. And it's like Rings of Power.
And also this is a one and done, I get the sense of.
I hope so. Sadly, I hope so.
It is weird that the show exists.
Well, they greenlit it after the Batman was successful, right? So they didn't go into the Batman thinking we'll make a Penguin thing.
You've already brought it up that it was almost an Arkham show, like that was being kicked around. I don't even know what that would have looked like.
There was also a Gotham PD show.
I suppose it gets us keen because the Penguin has to be on top.
Yes.
Because then we're going to lead into the second film where...
You'd hope so.
And once again, 5 for 5. This was another great episode. IGN, mate. It can't be a 5 out of 10.
No,
unless these 3 episodes are utter shit.
It's been 8s and 9s, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like so
I think they gave that episode a 7, by the way.
So there are individual reviews for each episode, but then they average to 5.
I don't know if their system works on averages.
But then you've got episodes that are doing 7, 6, 7, 8. You can't then...
5 is mediocre on their list.
But this isn't mediocre.
Not at all, which is insane to me.
Particularly when you compare to, I know they're separate reviewers, they're not a monolith, but your Chicken Rings of Power are nicer reviews.
It's nonsensical and I hate them. It's not like Star Wars Last Jedi in the way that movie ended and I was like, I don't know where we go next.
But like in a bad way.
Yeah, like they broke the story engine. I'm like...
There's nothing to look forward to. We've still got things to look forward to.
Whereas I'm like, oh.
Like, how's Penguin going to get out of this one? I can't wait for Penguin to actually have to face Dan Sophia again.
Yes.
Like, what's that going to... Because they are dual protagonists.
Yes.
And you kind of somehow you want both of them to succeed.
And they totally could, but it would be a stalemate, which would be less satisfying.
Are you House Penguin or are you House Falcon?
Oh,
team green, team black. Well, this is it done right.
Yes.
2 shitty people doing shitty...
That's my one problem.
Maybe the Penguin's going to have to dress up like a nurse and go visit the fucking Sophia. Is there any way we could, for the sake of the kids...
Like a Septon.
Yeah.
We can keep Vic. Vic can be okay, right? She liked Vic.
Oh, God.
That's my one problem with the show. I say my one problem, like, because all these problems are so small, they probably equal one problem. I like everyone. I want to not like someone. I need a Joffrey.
Well, I think...
Which, hopefully...
You've just saw the main character roast someone. I think eventually you're going to be like, hey, this guy, not that great.
Hopefully.
It's the Walter White thing,
If this ends... Although you still like Walter White by the end. Like...
You do a little bit, yeah.
But
then you like Jesse more and stuff like that, you know?
I want to hate Penguin by the end of this. If they can make him Joffrey for me, chef's kiss, 10 out of 10 show.
Well, I think they're going for the whole thing of, he killed his brothers.
Yeah, well, or at least couldn't save... I don't know. Yes, I want to know. And we at least have the 3 episodes. That feels like enough. Like... when watching this episode, I'm like, shit, we're only on 5. Like, this really is only halfway through.
Yep.
And, like, that's the feeling I want.
This is what House of Dragon could have... Obviously, I know it's a different budget. The same network. But there's been expensive things. Hey, it's why Dune Prophecy is going to be good, Dan. You got to believe in it.
I don't know that it will or won't. I'm just saying I don't know if people are going to watch it. Like...
Well, you said it's about Penguin. It's slightly built up.
The Penguin has Batman behind it.
And Dune was a big success this year.
The cinematicness of Dune.
It made more money than the Batman.
But yes, but that was like the Dune thing. I don't know if the Dune name is what drew people. Whereas more it was like, guys, go see Dune.
I'm really keen for Dune talk.
When does that come out?
November, well, it's 11th, so it'd be 12th for us. So that's probably the Monday slot when this wraps up.
Interesting that they can carry, like House of the Dragon, that.
I think HBO, they're doing it when they're on it. House of the Dragon was a stumble, but they are doing it. And I think with Dune Prophecy, because it turns out you don't just go and greenlight 4 things at once. You go, hey, let's do one really good thing.
But I hate HBO because 2-year gaps. In fairness to everything else. But if we had 1-year gaps, fuck, they'd be killing it right now.
Yeah, because Matt Smith just said that he hasn't even seen a script or a pitch of season 3.
Ooh,
so
that hurts. Yeah.
I'm like, well, I thought you'd be filming in January.
Yeah. What is the writer doing?
Yeah.
Like Sarah Hess finishes, like I guess executive producer, but her writers,
the scripts are
team
being written, but like
I hope so. But if you haven't seen them, like
yeah, okay.
That's
anyway, that was it.
Thank you very much. If you like it, like it. If you're subscribed, thank you. You're a nice person. See you next week.